Hello everybody, welcome in. It's Laura from Tenacious Taurus Twin Flame Tarot, and this is going to be the weekly forecast for the Twin Flame Collective. We've got some big energies this week. I was in this energy of getting all kinds of downloads on the weekend. There was so many times I wanted to jump on and share the messages that I received, and I kept being told, no, just wait, channel them today. So I did a lot of writing, I did a lot of journaling this past weekend, and so a lot of duality is what I want to say. There's a lot of duality in the energies, and so I'm gonna share what I channeled into the Divine Masculine Collective. We're going to talk about the energies for the week ahead, and then we're going to pull in with some cards. This is take two. Oh my God, I was done channeling all of these energies. I was already into the cards, and a phone call came through, and I accidentally accepted the call instead of hitting the end call button. And like 30 minutes worth of video gone out the window. And so I'm debating on whether or not to upload it still. I'm not sure, but let's try this take two. So I feel a week of second chances as well. And so where a lot of the masculines are at in these energies with the full moon, with Saturn moving into Pisces, is the energy is leading to a lot of tests of the masculine's character. I feel there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of hidden enemies being exposed. There could be an issue at work with the boss or something like that. It's just this energy of like the masculine is feeling very restricted, like he needs to assert his power. And so there's this energy of like a lot of ego conflicts, ego battles with a lot of people, because the masculine's already very irritable and impatient. And so a lot of reactions to anybody that tries to provoke him. I feel the Karmic's doing a lot of provoking, threatening, aggression. And this is leading to a lot of reckless, impulsive reactions and behaviors in the masculine's life. And so a lot of challenging events, I feel, have been taking place, forcing the masculine to defend himself, like this Seven of Wands type energy of needing to defend his goals, his desires. He's in a very like defensive position right now. When it comes to all of these spiritual initiations, bring forward conflict where the masculine feels like he kind of has to assert his ego. A lot of offensive behaviors. I feel a lot of the masculines are low on strength right now, low on courage. And there's this buildup of anger and resentment and sexual frustration. Bring forward all of these destructive energies that kind of need to be channeled at this point in time, right? So there's a lot of conflict as a result. There could have been a recent accident or something, but the masculine is like physically, mentally, spiritually exhausted, and I feel there's this very strong sexual attraction towards the feminine right now. And I feel all of these challenging events in the masculine's life, Kitty, are basically creating this strong magnetic pull towards the feminine, is what I'm feeling. And so where the masculine's at in that karmic relationship, I feel there was that initial magnetic pull, and now they're at a point where they both are annoyed by virtually everything the other person does. It's like it doesn't matter what they do, what they say, they just rub each other the wrong way. It's like they intentionally know how to get under each other's skin. It's like a tit for tat, like an ego battle, right? Like, I'm going to tit for tat you. And so I think they're both sitting there kind of wondering what they even saw in each other in the first place at this point in time. And so a lot of these karmic relationships do have a lot to do with the ego, where both people in these karmic relationships are going to find their egos getting triggered very often once that initial honeymoon stage wears off, and it's a reaction to each other in impulsive, angry manners. And so there's a lot of arguing in these connections, and I feel a lot of the karmics are coming off as very self-righteous, a bit of a know-it-all right now, very belittling towards the masculine, and the masculine is very defensive and angry. And so there's a lot of explosive arguments playing out because I feel the karmic isn't letting up. She's just like on him, hounding, hounding, hounding. And so there's a lot of competition in that karmic cycle between those two. It's not a healthy sense of challenging one another. It's competition. It's aggressive. It's combative. And so, you know, this is the right time for this relationship cycle to kind of go off the rails. It's also this energy of there's this dualistic nature. There's not equality where one of them wants to give more than the other wants to give. And there's this constant dynamic where they might switch back and forth between who wants to give and the other wants to give. But there's no equal drive or motivators in this connection. And so it's like there's nothing in common anymore. It's like one wants to go out and have a good time, the other wants to stay home. And so it's like in these karmic relationships where the masculine is at, is I feel he feels like he sacrificed a core part of himself to stay in that relationship, to keep up this facade. And so they're never on the same page. It's always a struggle. I feel the masculine feels like he constantly has to explain his actions to the other person because they just don't understand each other. They just don't get each other. They're like opposites, right? And so this is a very draining aspect in any long-term relationship, right? When there's a lack of healthy communication. And so I feel there's a lot of reactions. There's a lot of very defensive energies coming up because neither of them know how to express themselves or their needs without attacking the other person. And so I feel like there's just no way to compromise there because one or both of them really have given up their dreams, their values, and they haven't quite learned this lesson yet. And so 7 is the number of the mystic. That number's been coming up a lot for me. 777, 88's been coming up a lot. So it's the energy of what goes around comes around. And so there's great power in unconditional love, right? And truth seeking. And so when we step into our true strength and our true spiritual power and we display our pure unconditional power and love, then we step into serving the common good. Right? Humanity. It's about our humanitarian mission and doing the good deeds. And so the masculine, I feel, is deep in the underworld, in Hades, dealing with a very discriminating bully type energy. And that's the karmic to reflect this very negative energy, right? There's a lot of retaliation, power displays going on in that dynamic. And I feel the feminine is, you know, stepping into her power of manifestation, and the masculine is getting very frustrated. His response is frustration as the feminine gains momentum and victory is in sight. The feminine's power is growing right now. The feminine's light is growing and victory is in sight for the feminine. And so the masculine, I feel, is being carried away emotionally at even the slight smell of the feminine's victory. And so he's growing very impatient because he's been very limited and controlled. And so I do feel there's a lot of variables playing out right now. There's a lot of calculated displays coming forward, I feel, from the karmic. Like she's very calculated at this time, really wanting to display her power, to define, you know, her role. And I just feel like none of this is really natural. That's kind of playing out right now. I do feel the feminine is stepping into freedom, stepping into absolute triumph and victory. And the masculine's ego is kind of being annihilated, right? He sought out all of this instant ego gratification. He's not acted from a place of purity, and inevitably this has led him down the pathway of abuse, right? He's abused his power, and now he's lacking his confidence, and I feel the karmic is abusing power over him. And so there's many, many, many phases and shedding of layers and patterns when it comes to this twin flame journey. And there's been a lot of resistance on the masculine's part when it comes to embracing these phases and permanently leaving that cycle behind. So he's in a very discomforting energy, needing to release his power, needing to know that enough is enough already and to use a little bit of common sense. Because the energies are very impressive. It is this energy of judgment. I think the masculine is bitten off more than he can chew at this point in time. and he doesn't have the strength to kind of maintain all of these challenges that are taking place. So he's kind of sat at that crossroads, at that gate of contemplation, at that divine why, for a very long time now, playing into this superficial, shallow relationship, a lot of shallowness, a lot of superficiality surrounding him, which has created this superficial expression of his personality as well. So he's not honoring his authentic expression. And so all of these limitations have led the masculine down this very like narrow pathway of restriction. And I feel as this Saturn energy shifts, it's bringing a lot of self-awareness forward, what needs to be attuned when it comes to this self-consciousness, what needs to be brought to the extreme in order to bring forward some spiritual development. I just feel a lot of recognition and awareness in the energies of what we came here to teach others, to transcend above when it comes to our expression, our awareness, our gifts, and how we turn this light on to bring it forward as action, as that teacher. And so I feel a lot of the masculines have lost interest in the karmic cycle, in that karmic relationship, and it's like a real reality check, right? The Virgo full moon is all about seeing the fine details. And so this state of contemplation of limbo is all due to the fact that, you know, it's either all in or all out, and there's no guarantee of success if he comes forward to reconcile with the divine feminine. And so I feel like a major reality check. And he's created all of this dissatisfaction in his life, which has only added to the instability as well right now. And so I don't know that everybody can see the dissatisfaction within his reality though. And so I feel this energy to be awake and to be aware. We need to release this survival fear, right? We need to be fully present in the moment with our authentic selves. And he's not in a physical environment where he can be authentically himself. And so the feminine to be awake and aware and in this present moment, that's where I feel the feminine is at. To embrace the spiritual journey, it is not about control. And so the masculine has sought to control. And so all of this that he's repressed and tried to control and kind of manipulate is all kind of bubbling up from inside of him, right? And so I feel there's going to be like something that he says suddenly that he's not expecting to say. And so I just feel like we're in this huge potential, this gateway for massive divine masculine evolutionary change, to bring what was hidden to the light so we can embrace these changes and stay in our present existence from this empowered place from within. And so in order to release and mutate out of this survival programming, we have to trust in our intuitive knowing, and we do have to relearn and reparent into these self-loving behaviors. And then we step into being that influence to help others, right? So this Virgo full moon, I feel this really is an emotional time for the twins. This is a time of romance and fertilizing these unions, these relationships. And so, but first we have to uncover and unearth all of our shadows, especially around the Virgo energy of perfectionism. Feeling good enough about ourselves, accepting ourselves that we are enough in each moment just as we are, and releasing our fear around shame or making a mistake. And when we operate out of fear, then we don't take that leap of faith. And so Virgo has given us the tools we need to get grounded in our everyday life, and Pisces has given us the tools we need to employ and manage our higher spiritual selves. And so it is about spiritual health, physical health, mental health, the infinite, the finite, and so to find that balance, right? Both of these energies are service axes. And so this full moon is bringing forward a strong message from our intuition. It's the energy of eyes wide open. It is a time of embracing our spiritual work, illuminating our bad habits, where we need to get a new regime or routine in place for our health. I think a lot of health issues are coming up for a lot of the masculines, and so this is going to be a huge wake-up call. And so you're really going to want to pay attention to where Virgo falls within your housing side, because that's a house that's getting cleared out. So if you haven't done the work to clear out the house, there's going to be towers in that housing. And so look to the mutable energy too. We're going to be feeling this more than the other signs. And so the pressure's kind of on when it comes to the union process. Are you ready? I want to say, like, are you ready? Because the masculine is about to release this energy of self-sabotaging. So the feminine needs to be open to magic, right? Because I feel major week ahead. All of this tension's been brewing for a while, and I feel this full moon is the culmination of all of that tension brewing. What I've noticed is the last full moon in Leo was at exactly 16 degrees 40, and this full moon in Virgo it is again at exact 16 degrees 40. So something about the Leo, Aquarius, Virgo, Pisces axis is playing out. And so all of these old hurts and ghosts of the past need to be recognized and confronted. And so this tension is building. And so we've gone through a lot of core wounding activations with the Chiron aspects over the last couple of weeks, asking us to acknowledge our shadows, our fears, and to understand where we've been withheld from love and why we choose to self-sabotage and withhold love. And so there's been this inner notice of, embracing our inner dialogue and understanding this part of us that is overly self-critical or judgmental of ourselves, where we're extra hard on ourselves, and how to release that, right? Because it can be a nuisance when you got some banter in your head, and that can be a block to all of the cosmic wisdom coming in. So we got to release all of these old underlying emotions and beliefs and assumptions about self, so we don't keep pushing away love. So a lot of falsehoods are being released so we can open up to these unions. And so it is the energy of feeling very much disillusioned. We might not see everything crystal clear, but it's this energy of feeling on edge, this very tense feeling of something's waiting to be unlocked when it comes to the key to this union. And so forgiveness of self is going to be huge. This Virgo full moon is saying, hey, where do you need to release old hurts? Where do you need to heal so you can be open to love, ultimately, right? And so the energies are bringing up a lot of inner child wounding to be released, which can bring forward a deep sense of disillusionment with this Virgo full moon. And so that deepest, darkest wound is looking to be resolved and healed. Where did you lose your innocence as a child? And what I've noticed in a lot of astrology readings that I do is many of us have that first core wound around the age of 6 or 7. And so that's usually where we've lost our innocence and the crux of where we stopped believing in love, the crux of where we stopped connecting with the spiritual realms and true love. And so at the core, we are true love, right? And so we got to stop shutting down our intuition. We got to stop shutting down hope, because hope is the crux of everything. And so where have you stopped believing in magic and hope on a deeper level? Because that does keep us in a state of disharmony, especially as a twin flame. And so we need to release that inner critic. Where have you been critical or you've been a cynic when it comes to this journey? Where have you played into doubt and suspicion and negative expectations? So where do you need to release disbelief about coming together and understanding that we came from unconditional love? We're not pushed into love. We are love at the core. So what do you need to release in order to believe that you are already love? We are already in love. We are born in love. And so it's about owning that again, believing that again. So I know a lot have been feeling very down and very heavy right now. I can't sugarcoat that. But when we're down and we're heavy and we're being asked to sit with ourselves, it's showing us these toxins in our body, in our cellular body, in our system. And then we're releasing these energies to rise higher. So if you're feeling sluggish, down and heavy, rest. This is how you unite with yourself and clear these toxins and energies for healing. So this is like a cosmic process, right? And so we got to sit with the inner critic to release the inner critic, because nothing is perfect. That's a false shadow self, right? So where have you been pushed into these karmic relationships? what childhood wound keeps coming up to reflect you're not good enough in these karmic relationships, because ultimately karmic relationships will keep being brought back to us, whether it's with the same person or a new person, because we form these unconscious karmic attachments to basically reflect that childhood template of negativity over and over again until that wound fully gets triggered to come up for clearing. And so all of this does have to fully come up so we can become unconditional love. So there's a very demanding energy right now. And so the karmic feminine reflects that demanding critical parent for the masculine, right? Somewhere along the way, somewhere in the background, all of these issues stem around that core critical wound. And so a lot of energies, I feel, of figuring out what is it that you really want. What is really inside of you? Because if you're looking for love out there, you got to find it inside first. And so it's about shifting the vibration from within. Stop looking out there. It's already inside. And so with Saturn going into Pisces, there's going to be a lot of karma playing out over the coming 2 years for the twins. Can't sugarcoat that either. But Pisces is all about unconditional love, empathy, fantasy, spirituality. And so we're refining relationships over the next 2 years. These relationships are going to be spiritually based. It's the culmination phase of fully grounding heaven on earth. So over the next 2 years, we're going to see that first mass wave of these spiritual unions coming together as all of these illusions are kind of being released. So I feel the next few weeks, there's going to be a lot of tough lessons coming up around responsibilities. Saturn is all about karma, responsibility. So if you're not fully anchored in divine love in the physical, get ready, because it's not going to be pleasant. It's going to bring you face to face with past actions. What you're gonna reap what you sow. So Saturn shifts. You get a gift if you learned the lesson. If you didn't learn the lesson, then you get a boatload of karma, right? But it's going to push us into truth, so we can release what's not serving us on these journeys. And so if we work with the energies, we can find our strength again and our power again. But we do have to take responsibility. And I feel that's where the masculines are being pushed to take responsibility. So the universe is shaking things up to release these karmic attachments, these fantasies and illusions and blocks in the way this week, to clear them for good for this second chance. So over the next 2 years, a lot is going to happen in these connections. And this is kind of like the beginning legwork of that. So let's jump in with the cards. Take 2. I know the Sacred Covenant come out, so I put them all back in and I shuffled them again. So let's see. Ooh, look at that, Sacred Covenant again. Movement towards adventure. So get ready to be submersed. There's a lot of emotions coming up for sure. We're being submersed, and so we're changing, right? It's a 50 card, 5. And the Sacred Covenant. So I'm going to leave that out. I'm going to leave the Sacred Covenant out, and we're going to read that because these are sacred contracts that we've agreed to. And so the eye of the needle, we're kind of like in the eye of the storm, right? So you're really going to want to trust in what you've been shown and what you're seeing. The feminine's also like the eye of the storm, right? She can see the storm happening all around, but she's the calm of the storm, right? So we'll see what needs to come through for the week ahead. Dust Devil, look at that, out of stagnation. So that's kind of like a tornado coming in to blast some stuff out of the water. And that's going to spark curiosity. Cosmic Womb, the Divine Feminine. And so bottom of the deck, the Benefactor. So this could mean blessings, rewards, that great benefactor energy, grace, and generosity, because the feminine is resonating at that frequency of being able to receive. So I feel the masculine's being swept up in a tidal wave to get them out of stagnation, to get them to break free from that very conflicting karmic relationship, the devil contract, right? The 15. So that is the devil card in the tarot. And so to make that unexpected choice in love. And so right now it's like the masculine sitting in this karmic relationship, I feel, looking at this person like a stranger, like, who are you? And he's sitting in like the cosmic womb of the feminine's energy. I feel the feminine's energy is enveloped around the masculine as he enters into this stage of magician, right? It kind of looks like the magician. 53, the 8, what goes around comes around. And so these sacred covenants are coming back around. And I do feel the feminine is ready to receive 3, Empress, manifestation, that holy Trinity union. And I feel like the feminine is getting ready to receive a blessing. So I do want to read the sacred contract card. I think this is about the point in the last video where I started reading out of the book where that call kind of interrupted the video. So it is a 7 card, and that indicates, you know, the year we're in the year of truth seeking. So I do feel into Aries season, into the summer, things will be progressing. So right now I feel that higher commitment, that higher sacred contract, I feel is being shown to the masculine. And so I feel this initiation, this invitation to enter into the sacred contract with the feminine. It is an alchemical process. And so it is divinely ordained. And so this is an ancient agreement that we do have to uphold. And Spirit is saying it's time to renew this now. You can't rip it up. You can't cancel it. There's no getting off of this twin flame journey. It's showing up now at this full moon. It's time to embrace this new promise. So the masculine in the past was either unable to enter into this, or he made that deal with the devil and he did not commit to the feminine. And so whatever the reason for that, right? But now he needs to confront this because there's a lot being founded on truth this week. That this covenant is founded on truth. Not your truth, divine feminine, not his truth, not the divine masculine's truth, but the higher cosmic truth. The truth of the greater good, of our mission and our destiny. All of this is being taken into account this week, I feel. And so this isn't about your agenda, divine feminine. It isn't about the masculine's agenda. This is about the greater good and having faith that Spirit's redirection is for the greater good, right? And so it's important that we understand this. We signed up for this. And so, you know, I think the masculine's like, maybe I didn't read the fine print. I wasn't ready to commit to something so great. And I feel there's a lot of regret. Because right now, the masculine, you know, he's really compromised his integrity in that very karmic situation. And so he's got to basically come forward and put all of the cards on the table is where the masculine is at. All of his motives, all of his desires have to be transparent. Nothing can be left in the dark at this point in time. And so there's the false contract breaking down so this covenant can come forward. So this unspoken dark side, I think, is coming to light this week in the energies. So let's jump in with some tarot. Let's jump in with some tarot. Let's keep it short and sweet. Look at that. Okay, transformation, Page of Cups in reverse. So I asked my guides this morning if reunion is on the table this week to show me the Page of Cups in a reading. Now, mind you, it is in reversed. But I do feel an apology is possible this week, but it is being withheld right now, as the masculine goes through some very significant life experience this week that is pushing and requiring these changes. So there's going to be a powerful, unexpected breakdown this week to get the masculine to release those old belief systems, because I do feel there's still a block on the heart. There's still a block when it comes to the masculine receiving these psychic insights. There's still a delay. But it might come back out. It might come back out upright. So let's see what might be coming through for the twins this week. What can we expect? Current situation for the masculine. We get the Queen of Cups in reversed. The King of Swords in reversed, the Page of Swords. So that's that energy of getting honest. 2 people dissatisfied in a situation, right? We got 2 people really not emotionally available. I do feel the Karmic is having an emotional breakdown. I feel she is breaking down. I do feel it is an emotional time for sure. I feel there's a lack of love there. I feel the masculine has not been clearly communicating. I feel maybe the masculine is the bully. I just feel two very ungrounded people. And I feel the karmic is overly emotional at this point in time. And the masculine is just very cold, cutting to the chase. This is the whole truth. And I'm not going to bring any emotions into this conversation. I feel there's going to be a challenging conversation for the masculine for the week ahead. Okay. And this is going to lead to, I feel, an unexpected arrival from the masculine. And so the page of fire, the page of wands with the knight of wands in reverse, this is the masculine coming in committed, focused, wanting a new opportunity, wanting to finish what was started. He's being fueled by passion. Yeah, and he's coming out of the dark night of the soul. There's the moon, the sun and the moon reversed, and the Hermit Virgo energy. And so this full moon is bringing in a revelation, I feel, to break the masculine out of a very dark situation. It is dark. It is like very, very, very heavy energy, and all of this fear is being released. There's going to be a major revelation. It's going to bring clarity as to what the masculine has been seeking. So in the past, the masculine has been going within. He's been isolating himself, going within, meditating, shining light on all of these negative vices. And I do feel this Virgo full moon, it's saying it's time to step into being that spiritual mentor. You've gone through self-discovery. You've gone through the dark night of the soul. I feel that Leo full moon also brought in a revelation, and this is the culmination, and so the Pisces energy as well, as to what true wish fulfillment is. And there's the wounded healer. Definitely a week of awakenings. Wishes potentially can come true. This really can be a magical time. But I feel the masculine needs to break free from that illusion, and he needs to find his self-confidence to take action and to take responsibility. So let's see a surprise from the universe. We get the Magician reversed, and we'll see Queen of Wands reversed, Six of Cups reversed. There's that ending. There's going to be an unexpected ending, maybe even a revelation of the manipulation. I just feel there's no magic there. There's no more working together. This connection really was over-romanticized. And the Six of Cups reverse is an ending. And that is putting the past to bed when it comes to these childhood patterns. There's the Lovers reversed. This was not true love. It was a pattern. It was an addictive cycle. It was not a sacred covenant. It was related to illness and addictions, and there's a need to recover. And so there's fear, right? There's a lot of fear coming up. Like the masculine's been like in this prison, this self-imposed prison, and breaking free. So we'll get an overall energy for the week ahead. And they're just like coming right out. There's that dust devil getting out of stagnation. Getting out of stagnation. Can you give me a minute, please? Yeah, I'm almost done. And so, you know, choosing not to see, staying stuck, being the martyr, being the victim, boom, wake up call. No more time for reflection, no more pause. There's going to be an awakening to some insights, to see things in a whole new light, and that's going to lead to unexpected communication. I do feel there's going to be something that shakes apart that foundation. The masculine definitely received poor advice. I feel a breakdown of that false community structure. Breaking free from the status quo, taking decisive action towards the union with the feminine. So there's that indecision. There's those ego battles, right? And the masculine, all of these outer challenges are a direct reflection of these internal conflicts, of the back and forth, of, you know, knowing that these emotions have to be faced. So it's like a tsunami of emotions are coming forward in order for this balance to be brought together. Because we're here to have fun, right? We're here to enjoy life. And so I feel a huge walking away of that drama, wishes coming true, and an opportunity to start brand new this week. So there very well could be a new offer coming in, Divine Feminine, this week. I think like what I want to say is it's time to get to work. It's time to get to work, and that's kind of what I got for the week ahead, guys. I hope this helped. I hope this resonated. If you would like to book a personal or a soulmate reading with me, check out the description box below, guys. Keep in mind, I will be taking next week off because it will be March break. So space is limited this week, and then I would be looking into the following week. Anyway, I hope you all have a great week ahead. Have a good day. I love you all, and I will see you all next time. Thank you.